When people think of impressive biceps, they often assume size is the only factor. However, a truly aesthetic bicep isn't just about being big, it's about width and overall shape, particularly from a frontal view. This raises an important question. Is widening your biceps purely a matter of genetics, or is there something you can actively do about it? While genetics do play a role in muscle shape and insertion points, the good news is that you can absolutely influence the width of your biceps through targeted training. Once you understand the anatomy of the biceps, it becomes clear that certain exercises emphasize different parts of the muscle, and with the right approach, you can strategically develop your arms to look broader and fuller. To put this to the test, I strapped electrodes to my arms and used electromyography technology to measure which exercises best activate different parts of the biceps. The results were surprising, and they provided a blueprint for developing wider, more impressive biceps. But before diving into exercises, it's essential to understand what most guys miss when training their arms: the hidden complexity of biceps anatomy. Many people mistakenly believe the biceps are just one muscle. In reality, the biceps brachii consists of two distinct heads, the long head and the short head. However, recent studies suggest that the biceps may have up to 6 different functional segments, meaning there's more complexity to how they can be trained than most people realize. Fortunately, you don't need to follow an absurd 6-day biceps split to hit all of these areas. Instead, the key to wider biceps is targeting the 2 primary heads effectively. The long head is located on the outer portion of the arm and contributes to overall thickness and peak, while the short head runs along the inner portion and helps fill out the width of the bicep. When you perform any biceps exercise, whether it's a standard dumbbell curl, barbell curl, or chin-up, both heads are activated to some extent. However, if you know how to adjust your positioning, you can emphasize one head over the other, making your biceps appear wider or thicker depending on your needs. Most guys train their biceps without considering which head they're prioritizing, leading to unbalanced development. To correct this, let's go over the best ways to target each head effectively, targeting the long head for outer biceps width. For those looking to add more outer width to their biceps, focusing on the long head is essential. Many lifters believe that incline curls or behind-the-body movements are the best way to emphasize the long head. But after conducting an NG analysis, I discovered a more effective technique: training within the scapular plane. This means positioning your arms in a way that keeps the effort directed toward the long head throughout the movement. To test this, stand up straight, bend your elbows to a 90-degree angle, and rotate your wrists outward as far as possible. This external rotation naturally places more tension on the long head. One of the best exercises to exploit this principle is the cable curl performed from a slight forward and sideways stance. By standing a few steps in front of the cable machine and angling slightly toward the working arm, you can keep your elbow tucked into the scapular plane, ensuring that the long head remains under tension. For even better results, adjusting the cable height to around wrist level adds extra resistance when the arm is in its most stretched position, which research suggests promotes greater hypertrophy. If you don't have access to cables, you can replicate this motion using dumbbells by performing standing curls while maintaining that same scapular positioning. The key is consistency. Incorporate this movement into your routine, and you'll notice increased development in the outer portion of your biceps over time, optimizing the short head for inner biceps fullness. While the long head contributes to outer width, the short head is what fills out the biceps, making them appear fuller and rounder. The best way to activate the short head is by using internal rotation rather than external rotation. To test this, I performed a standard dumbbell curl and compared it to a curl where my arm was internally rotated, meaning my palm was slightly facing inward rather than fully supinated. The NG results showed a significant shift in activation toward the short head. One of the best exercises to apply this is the concentration curl. This movement allows you to rest your elbow against your inner thigh, forcing the biceps to work in a mechanically advantageous position for targeting the short head. To get the most out of this exercise, think of curling the dumbbell across your body toward your opposite PC rather than straight up. However, one drawback of the concentration curl is that it provides the most resistance at the top of the movement, when the biceps are fully contracted, rather than at the bottom when they are most stretched. To counter this, you can use an incline bench or preacher curl, positioning yourself sideways to angle the curl across your body toward your neck. This variation maintains tension on the short head throughout the entire range of motion, making it a superior option for building inner biceps thickness. Using barbell curls to emphasize different heads. Dumbbells and cables are excellent for isolating different biceps heads. But what about barbell curls? Surprisingly, the width of your grip can significantly impact which head is emphasized. When I performed NG tests on close grip versus wide grip barbell curls, I found an interesting pattern. A close grip increased activation in the long head, while a wide grip shifted more tension onto the short head. This is due to the way the elbows are forced to move when using a close grip. Your elbows naturally try to rotate outward, reinforcing long head activation. Conversely, a wider grip forces internal rotation, shifting emphasis toward the short head. However, barbell curls can place a lot of strain on the wrists and elbows, especially when using heavy weights. If you experience discomfort, it may be better to stick with dumbbells or cables, which allow for more natural movement patterns and individualized arm positioning. If you do choose to incorporate barbell curls, use them strategically and avoid excessive load to prevent joint stress. Understanding the role of the brachialis for wider biceps. While the two heads of the biceps, long and short, play a crucial role in arm width, there's another often overlooked muscle that significantly contributes to making your arms look broader: the brachialis. This muscle sits underneath the biceps and, when developed, pushes the biceps up, making them appear wider and thicker from the front. Many lifters ignore this muscle because they assume all curling exercises work the same way, but the truth is targeting the brachialis requires a different approach. The key to activating the brachialis effectively is to use exercises that minimize the involvement of the biceps heads. The best way to do this is by using a neutral grip or pronated grip, which places more emphasis on the brachialis. The hammer curl is the gold standard for this. Instead of curling with your palms facing up, you hold the dumbbells with a neutral grip, palms facing inward, and curl straight up. This position takes some of the tension off the biceps and shifts it onto the brachialis. For an even more effective variation, try rope hammer curls with cables, which provide constant tension throughout the movement, ensuring the brachialis is fully activated. Another great exercise is the reverse curl, where you grip a barbell or S-curl bar with your palms facing downward, pronated grip, and curl it up. This further reduces biceps involvement and shifts focus to the brachialis and forearms. If you want wider biceps, you should include at least one of these exercises in your routine. Many people overlook the brachialis, but those who train it consistently often see massive improvements in the overall shape of their arms. If your biceps look flat from the front, this muscle might be the missing piece in your training. Volume, frequency, and recovery. The perfect balance for biceps growth. No matter how good your exercise selection is, you won't maximize biceps width without proper volume, frequency, and recovery. Many people make the mistake of either training their biceps too much or not enough, and both can limit progress. So how often should you train your biceps for maximum width and thickness? The ideal training frequency for biceps is 2-3 times per week, depending on your overall training split. If your biceps are a weak point, hitting them 3 times a week can help stimulate more growth, but you need to balance it with proper recovery. Each session should include 6-9 total sets, spread across different exercises that target both heads of the biceps and the brachialis. For instance, one workout could focus on long head activation with scapular plane curls, another could emphasize short head curls like concentration curls, and the third could prioritize brachialis work with hammer curls. But training hard isn't enough. You also need proper recovery. This means giving your arms 48-72 hours between direct biceps workouts, getting enough protein and calories, and ensuring you're getting quality sleep. Many lifters think they need to train their arms daily to see results, but this actually hinders growth by not allowing the muscles to fully repair. Also, if your overall program includes a lot of pulling movements like pull-ups and rows, your biceps are already getting extra stimulation, so they might not need excessive direct work. Lastly, progressive overload is key. If you're not increasing weight, reps, or intensity over time, your biceps will stop growing. Track your workouts, gradually increase resistance, and ensure you're training close to failure on your final sets. When you get this balance right, training with the right exercises, frequency, and recovery strategy, you'll see massive improvements in your biceps width, making them stand out from every angle. Which biceps head should you prioritize? Now that you understand how to target each biceps head, the question becomes, which one should you focus on? This depends on your individual weaknesses and aesthetic goals. If your biceps lack width and look narrow from the front, prioritizing short head exercises will help fill them out. If you want a more dramatic peak in overall arm thickness, fitness. Focusing on the long head is the way to go. Beginners should focus on overall development before worrying about specialization. But once you reach an intermediate level, strategic training can make a huge difference in shaping your biceps. An easy way to assess your own needs is to flex in the mirror and see which part of your biceps appears less developed. Alternatively, test out different exercises and see which ones feel the most challenging or provide the best pump in your target area. Once you identify your weak point, adjust your training accordingly. If you're doing 3 biceps exercises per week, allocate 2 toward your weaker head and 1 toward the stronger head. Smarter biceps training for better growth. Most people assume that building bigger arms is just about lifting heavier weights, but true biceps growth comes from intelligent programming. By understanding the biomechanics behind each exercise and using MG data to pinpoint activation, we can refine our training to maximize results. Whether your goal is adding width to your biceps, increasing peak height, or achieving overall balance, structuring your workouts with targeted exercises is the most effective approach. Remember, muscle shape is partially dictated by genetics, but that doesn't mean you can't optimize your development through smart training choices. If you're serious about taking your biceps to the next level, implement these techniques consistently and track your progress. The results will speak for themselves, and if you're looking to further enhance your upper body aesthetics, don't neglect your shoulders. Building broader shoulders will dramatically improve your overall proportions. For a complete shoulder workout designed to maximize width and definition, check out the next video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.